The little dog was covered in asphalt. It is now severely burned. Its body is also covered in pebbles. It is on the brink of death. If it is not cleaned up in time, the puppy will die. Fortunately, the patrolling officers on the street found it. People hurriedly took it to the rescue unit. And not far away, in some abandoned pipes, there was another little dog. The kind rescuers also rushed to take it out. This dog's injury doesn't seem too serious, but it also needs treatment. The scene shifts, and people have arrived at the rescue unit. The staff had prepared gasoline in advance. They placed the little dogs on the table together. The first thing to do is to clean the pebbles off the little guys. The nurse gently pulled out each piece of rock, with the lubrication of gasoline. Soon, the pebbles were almost completely cleaned up, but there was still a large area of sticky asphalt. One can only bathe them, continuously rubbing them, during this time. To prevent the little dogs from going hungry, they also gave the dogs some food. Everything has spirituality. I believe the little dogs will remember the people's life-saving kindness, and repay humanity in some way in the future. Dogs are our best friends. I believe the kind people who rescued them will also have good fortune. Good people live a peaceful life. A few days later, when we met the little dogs again, they had completely changed color. Their fur had returned to its original state. The dogs have been successfully taken care of by the pet unit, thanks to the kind people's good deeds. I believe that in the pet unit, they can live happily and healthily forever. Love life, protect animals. Alright, that's it for this episode. See you next time. This stray dog was thrown into a dry well by passers-by just for barking a few times at them. It was brutally thrown down the well by passers-by, facing a well over 10 meters deep. Despite the dog using all its strength, it ultimately ended in failure. The cold water in the well made the dog shiver. It could only cling to the edge of the stones, quietly waiting for death to take it away. It looked up pitifully with its head raised, gazing at the narrow well opening, waiting for a miracle to happen. But the bone-chilling well water made it impossible for the dog to continue clinging to the stones. If no human discovers it soon, it will soon die. I didn't know there was such a cruel person in the world. Heartlessly throw the dog into that well. Perhaps heaven has mercy for life. Just as the dog is about to lose its life, he was discovered by villagers coming to fetch water. They called for rescue personnel. The rescuers didn't dare to rest for a moment. They quickly went down to carry out the rescue. Dogs are our most loyal friends. They protect our homes. If you don't love it, then please don't bring it harm. As the rescuers slowly descended to the bottom of the well, the spirited dog seemed to see a hope for survival. It quickly moved closer to the rescuers. It cooperated diligently. The rescuers hurriedly placed the dog into a net. As the rescuers above pulled the rope, the dog was pulled up little by little. The villagers around, who were anxious, finally felt relieved. Nice people are watching this video. Please cheer for the kind rescuers in your own way. Thank him for saving the dog's life. The rescuers quickly took the dog to the pet hospital for a full body checkup. Fortunately, the dog was not injured. In the end, they found a warm home for the dog, allowing it to escape a life of wandering from then on. The little dog was born with a disability. It cannot walk normally like its peers, but it still lives its life with strength. Every day, it is happy and cheerful. Its owner has not given up on it either. An elderly grandmother. She is its owner. The old woman and the dog depend on each other. I really don't know if that little dog can be cured. If one day the old woman is no longer there, what will it do then? Just today, the grandmother made a bold decision. She called in professional rescue personnel. She prepared to have them check the little dog's health condition. A few minutes later, people arrived at the grandmother's house. They brought food for the little dog. They fed it the food it loves to eat. After continuous interaction, the puppy gradually accepted the rescuer. The rescue team had no time to think. After greeting the grandmother, they decided to take the little dog to the pet hospital for treatment. Just as it was time to say goodbye, the old lady still felt a bit reluctant, but there was nothing she could do. After all, the dog's health is more important than anything else. The disability in its thigh has also caused abnormalities in the little dog's bowel movements. The doctor continuously examined its body. It seems the nervous system is still functioning. The little dog can still move its thigh, but it's unclear why it can't walk. The doctor also used various instruments to treat its hind legs. I believe people will find a way to heal it. A few days later, when we saw the little dog again, it still couldn't stand up. However, its hind legs had been bandaged. It seems it must have had surgery. The young lady also took meticulous care of it. Whether it was day or night, kind-hearted people would be by its side. After all, besides the young lady now, no one is closer to the little dog. The little dog is especially lonely in the pet hospital. It has almost no friends. It doesn't like to play with others of its kind. It's probably due to its own disabled body. That has likely caused it to feel rejected. The nurse also changes its bandages every day. Occasionally, young people take it out for a walk. To better accompany it in training, people even made a little wheelchair for it. This way, it can run like a normal dog. And it runs particularly fast. Other dogs find it very curious when they see it. They all cast envious glances at it. In fact, when you think about some things from another perspective, it can also be a kind of luck. No matter how you live, it's still one day. So why not spend it happily? I believe that in the near future, miracles will happen. The little dog will be able to stand up again. God loves life and protects animals. I also wish that kind-hearted people will be rewarded. Good people can live in peace for a lifetime. The video ends here. See you next time. A stray dog was trapped in a sewage ditch for several days and nights. At this point, it had no strength left to cry out. Most of his body was stuck under a stone slab and couldn't move. He looked very pitiful. When kind-hearted people arrived at the scene, they were shocked by the scene before them. How did it fall down there? I don't know. It's been many days already. The dog was now completely limp on the ground. It behaved very well when petted. To rescue him as quickly as possible, they prepared to lift the stone slab at the back. There was a long iron chain around the dog's neck. It was obvious that he had an owner before, but no one around knew whose dog this was. They then tried gently to see if they could pull it out. Due to being stuck for too long, this method was completely ineffective. Finally, with everyone's combined efforts, they lifted the stone slab. Only then did the dog successfully get rescued. You can see that the dog is very large. Moreover, its eyes and nose are soaked and damaged. It was only after picking up the dog that we realized it had problems with its hind legs and couldn't stand. Seeing it lying on the ground in such a pitiful state, it really breaks your heart. This is a German Shepherd. We don't know how it fell in. One of its eyes is already bloodshot. To conduct further examinations on the dog, the young man prepared to lift the dog, which weighed dozens of pounds, into the car. Although it was very dirty and smelly, the young man did not mind at all. They then took the dog to the pet hospital. Through the veterinarian's examination, it was found that the dog's teeth had all been cut off. But such a well-behaved and gentle dog. Why would someone want to cut off its teeth? This greatly affects its ability to eat. Looking at the dog's helpless and desperate expression, I don't know how much it has endured. What great pain it has suffered. They said it crawled about 100 or 200 meters in the sewer, looking for an exit inside. They finished checking the dog. The doctor said all of the dog's organs showed signs of failure. The dog needed to be hospitalized. Now the dog needs to be cleaned. Then it can be admitted to the hospital. But because it was really too dirty, most pet shops wouldn't take it. So we could only take the dog home to clean it first. After getting home, the guy prepared some food for it, but for some reason, the dog just couldn't eat. It only drank a little water. It was really well behaved and obedient. It never barked or made a fuss the whole time. The dog couldn't move even when the young man bathed it. In fact, dogs are very perceptive. It can feel your kindness towards it. After the bath, it was taken to the pet hospital again. The doctor said the dog might only have a few days left, because its multiple organs have already failed. There isn't a single organ in its body that is healthy. Perhaps its previous owner also knew about the dog's condition. That's why they abandoned it, right? Otherwise, how could they bear to abandon such a docile dog? Hearing this news was like a bolt from the blue. The young man wanted to make one last effort. After all, the dog is also a little life. So he arranged for it to be hospitalized. Then he tried to treat it as best as he could. Looking at the dog's pitiful eyes, the young man felt very heartbroken. Fate brought them together, but it turned out to be so short-lived. In the end, he hoped the dog could get better, because a beautiful life is calling the dog. This is a foreign street at 11 o'clock in the evening. A young man is out for a walk. He unexpectedly discovers a stray golden retriever. The head of the golden retriever is stuck in the grass by the roadside, being trapped for a long time. Exhausted the dog. Just as the man is about to initiate a rescue, the golden retriever miraculously breaks free from the grass. Looking at the weak and breathless stray dog, the young man also hesitates immediately. He doesn't know what to do. After all, it is already close to midnight. Many pet hospitals have already closed. If he doesn't know how to handle it, he would definitely harm the golden retriever. As time passes little by little, the golden retriever has gone from being weak at the beginning to now being completely exhausted. It can be seen lying on the ground. It began to twitch in spasms. There was no time to wait for rescue. The young man also decided that, no matter what, he had to try to rescue it. He cautiously approached the big yellow dog. He wanted to see if the big yellow dog would have any extreme reactions. The photographer also worked hard alongside the young man. Perhaps it was at the last moment of life. The big yellow dog decided to fight one more time. It struggled to stand up. It walked towards the bushes behind it. It was seen continuously gnawing at the wild grass by the roadside. It was probably trying to fill its stomach with the flowers and grass. Faced with such a situation, the young man hurriedly brought his family's tricycle. He decided to personally treat the big yellow dog. A few minutes later, the big yellow dog was brought home by the young man. To help the dog regain strength, he also prepared some water and food for it. Just arrived in an unfamiliar area, the big yellow dog must still feel a bit strange. It doesn't dare to ask for much. It can only stay quietly in the cage. Although the man wanted to carry it out of the dog cage, but it continued to resist with all its might. In the face of such a situation, the photographer suggested that they quickly move out of the dog's sight. This way, it could walk out of the cage by itself. Sure enough, things really went as the photographer said. The big yellow dog finally walked out of the cage this time, and started tasting the food. Time continued to pass. The men saw the big yellow dog sleeping on the sponge. They also decided to take a break first. They would take it to the hospital for a checkup first thing tomorrow morning. The scene shifted, and the big yellow dog had already been taken to the pet hospital, under the continuous treatment of the doctors. They also indicated that the weakness of the big yellow dog was due to malnutrition. Hearing such a result, then the treatment can be carried out with peace of mind, because the condition is not serious. I believe that before long, the big yellow dog will be able to regain its health again. The doctor prescribed some medication for the man, so they were allowed to go home. The young man also added medication to the big yellow dog's food every day. This way, it could receive treatment without even realizing it. Everything has a spirit. As they continued to spend time together, I believe the big yellow dog recognized the man as its new owner. I wish the little dog a speedy recovery, and I thank the kind-hearted person for their rescue. I wish that good people can live in peace for a lifetime. Care for life, protect animals. Let us pass on this love together, to create a beautiful home together. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you again for watching.